Chris Eubank Jr. egg slaps Conor Benn. Make sure to stick around because I'm going to tell you exactly what this egg slap situation has done for both fighters. I'm also going to talk about the key moments from the press conference and what we can take away. If you're new to the channel, my name's Lawrence Oswecki, a professional boxer and also a former member of GB amateur boxing team and also a national champion boxing all over the world at various tournaments. The family rivalries just went to the next level. If you don't know about the dad's rivalry, don't worry, we'll get into it. This fight's due to take place on the 26th of April in London at Tottenham Hot Spur Stadium. It's the first Ringside Magazine event which is owned by Turki Alalshik. Anybody that wasn't interested in the fight before, if you watched the face-off, you are now. Things went off, which we'll get into later. I know these two aren't everybody's cup of tea and they're kind of like Marmite, but after this incident, everybody's excited. Okay, I'll leave. Ugh. They were meant to fight a few years ago, but Conor went and messed it up when he failed a drugs test and got a 2-year ban, and naturally the fans turned against him. And let's be honest, Conor done himself no favours because he reacted terrible to the whole situation. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe because it really helps the channel grow. And also hit the bell notification button so you don't miss a video. He was going on like it was everybody else's fault that he failed a test. He basically done Chris a favour because he made him look good. And like I said, Chris isn't exactly loved either. He's like his dad. He's got this air of arrogance and just this weird energy. Personally, I'm a huge fan of his dad. I think he's hilarious. The difference is his dad was world class and he proved it in the ring. And he was also original. Let's be real, both Chris and Conor only getting these opportunities and attention because of the dads, plain and simple. Unfortunately, neither of them as good as the dads were, and even personality wise, I'm sorry to say. It's just the problem you have when your parents were so great. It's a lot to live up to. And really, it's not a bad problem to have, is it? Getting these opportunities. Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn, their rivalry was next level. Some of the best in British boxing. Probably two of the best and most entertaining fighters to come out of Britain. When you put both men in a room, sparks went off. The build-up, the ring walks, the fights were great. If you haven't seen them, I strongly suggest you go and watch them. One thing that Chris Jr. has got from his dad is the ability to take centre stage and make it all about him. He's a master. At the start, Eddie Hearn was trying to speak, and Chris just cut him off and wouldn't let him speak. He knows fine well it'll get people talking, and Eddie Hearn's a big name in the game, so to just cut him off like that is a big statement. He's done this before the previous press conference to both Eddie and Frank Warren, and I remember Frank's face, he was fuming. For all the young fighters coming through, watch and learn, take notes, because that's how you sell a fight and make the event all about you. But maybe don't attack the promoter because it might not help your career moving forward. Conor starts the press conference saying to Chris, your own dad doesn't like you. What an achievement. Mic drop. But what he doesn't know, what's coming next. And you know what I'm talking about.
His dad don't even like him. Well done, the most unlikable geezer on the planet. Even your dad don't like you. Drop the mic.
And you know that Conor's been desperate to say this in front of everybody to try to embarrass Chris. But in fairness, he keeps a cool head and doesn't really overreact. Chris brings up when they were first meant to fight, he was the villain and Conor was the hero. But because he failed a drugs test, he threw it all away. And the thing is with Conor, he can't hide how he feels. He wears his heart on his sleeve. And you could see it was like a knife in the heart. Conor already feels like the world's against him, even before the failed drugs test. It's just his mentality. So that one definitely had the desired effect. Conor says he can't take him seriously because he's run from people his own weight, the likes of Hamza and Adamez. And to be honest, I can't argue with it. It's kind of true, in that basically that Conor's an easy option. But saying that, one thing I know, Chris is all about the money. And this fight is bigger than the rest, and definitely or probably more money. The two of them go back and forth on each other's records, but the truth be told, Conor's done nothing yet in boxing, and plus, he's had a drugs ban. You know, he's got it all to prove. Yes, he's got age on his side, but like I say, he's got it all to prove. Chris up to now has achieved more in the sport, fought the better opponents, he's more experienced, and he's fought at the higher weight. Yes, he's had his losses, but against world-class operators who've all won world titles. The £10 rehydration clause was mentioned, and Chris basically says, I'm being paid extra for the disadvantage. Personally, I don't like rehydration clauses because they're dangerous. A fighter having to dehydrate themselves to make weight is ridiculous. It shouldn't be allowed. It makes them more susceptible to a brain injury, because when a fighter has to dehydrate themselves, have less water on the brain, and the water's there to protect the brain. But at the same time, Chris has agreed to the contract, so if he's drained at the weight, he can't cry about it. He's going to have to live by his decision. When fighters go up in weight, people think it's a disadvantage, but actually it's better, because when fighters are tight at the weight and they've got to dehydrate themselves, that's dangerous. That's the disadvantage. Things are moving fast. There's been 2 press conferences this week. The question got put to Chris, what does this fight mean to you? And he said, it's career defining. It's more than the money. I'm not too sure if I believe it, because at this stage in his career, I do question his motivation, because he lives the high life and he lives an expensive lifestyle. So if he is in it just for the money, it's a bad place to be in a boxing ring when the going gets tough. And again, he doesn't let Eddie Hearn talk, and you can see that Eddie is fuming. He's never been in this situation before.
You're not going to get your speech in our conversation. Doesn't matter any way you weasel your way in, I am not listening to your bullshit. You don't have to listen.
And normally, I do like to hear Eddie speak because he's entertaining, but Eubanks has spoken. He wasn't having it. Chris is on fire. He's thrown serious ammo. He said the first time they were meant to fight, people bought hotels, flights, travelled, and they didn't get compensated. I mean, what's Conor meant to say? There's nothing. He said the undercard also didn't get compensated, and he's going to give £50,000 to share amongst them.
I hope
some money.
Eddie and Conor both put up their own £50,000.
Now that's how you get the fans on board and make Conor look bad, make him look like the villain. Nigel Benn said he's fully confident in Conor and that it won't go past 4 rounds and that he's a better fighter than he was. Firstly, I completely disagree that Conor's better than his dad. But at the same time, it's his son, he's going to big him up. Second of all, in Conor's last fight, he fought at £147 and he couldn't put a dent in his opponent. In this fight, is at 160. Work that one out. Chris just keeps dropping bombs. He says to Nigel, when it all kicked off, you put your hand around my neck. He says, I'm going to give you a pass, but if it happens again, you won't get it back. Threatening Nigel Benn. Come on, have some respect. He's a legend. And you can imagine how that went down with Conor. But I've got to say, I absolutely love it. Let's get to the main event, the egg slap situation. I mean, that's the ultimate disrespect. I'd rather be punched in the face or slapped. It's up there with being spat in the face. That was a serious move. Did Chris go too far? Let me know in the comment section. One thing's for sure, he certainly knows how to sell a fight. If you don't know the story behind it, Conor's failed drug test, he blamed it on the consumption of eggs. All I know, this right now is war. It requires nuclear retaliation. I mean, it can't be left like this. How can Conor live this down? He knows people will be laughing at him. He'll become a meme. It's world-class embarrassment. How's he going to be able to sleep at night? Just imagine when his wife makes him breakfast and there's eggs on the plate. It'll feel like a personal attack, like she's laughing at him. The only way this can be dissolved, erased, is if he knocks Chris clean out. It's the only way. Conor is already naturally angry and emotional. This is just piled on the pressure. He's emotionally being bent over backwards. It's another win for Chris. On an intellectual level, Chris is just too clever for Conor, and that's no disrespect, it's just the truth. It comes with age and experience, and Conor's only 28, which isn't young, but I think he's a young 28-year-old, because we've seen how he reacted with his failed drug test. He spat his dummy out. I think he's got a lot of maturing to do. What can we take away? Well, if press conferences won fights, Chris has already won 10-0. Because before the fight, before the bell goes, you've got to try to get every mental advantage you can. And right now, Chris is miles away. Chris Eubank Jr. is something else. He's single-handedly selling the fight. Tell me what you think. Did Chris go too far, or did he play a blinder? Please let me know in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe and go and watch this video next.